teach and when you get give. Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. Being an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that share and inform and enlighten. So welcome. I'm so excited. Conversations with Verdel Jones is going to have a new look and a new vibe and be revamped. We're looking so forward to our 2017 season. Starting in January, we're going to have some great guests. I want to do some shows that involved, teaching you things that you might not know. I'm dedicated to making sure that you learn something when you watch one of my shows. So I'm really excited about upcoming season. So I just want you guys to stay tuned for that. We're gonna also be on December 19th as well. So look for that to be coming. Today's show, we're gonna have a lot of information. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about today was my new book, The Parent Agent, How to Represent Your Child and Get Them into the College of Their Choice. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. I also have two special guests in the house, and we're going to be talking to them about the college process. And so if you have a student that wants to go to college or that's in college, or you know someone that's in college or someone that's graduated from college, this is a show for you because we're going to be talking about all of that. So again, make sure you stay tuned and follow me on Twitter at DeliTeach, DeliTeach. And for more information about me, you can also visit my website, verdeljones.com. So we're going to start off talking about the parent agent, how to get your child into the college of their choice. I'm sorry, how to represent your child and get them into the college of their choice. So right now what I want to do is play a little video that kind of describes what the book is about and what you can look forward to when you pick that book up. So we'll just run that.
How do I get my child into the best college? Why is early planning imperative in the college process? In her new book, The Parent Agent, Verdel Jones answers these questions and more. What does it mean to be a parent agent? As a parent agent, you represent your child to help them get into the college of their choice. Strategies learned in this book will help you create opportunities for your child that will develop them into successful individuals. Verdel Jones is an experienced educator with over 20 years' experience. She has personally visited hundreds of college campuses and holds extensive knowledge about the higher education selection process and has helped hundreds of students. She has also successfully been a parent agent for her own children. In her new book, The Parent Agent, you will be given concrete information on how to visit colleges, learn why knowing your child is critical in finding the right college, understand why starting early can make all the difference in keeping your child on track for higher education. Gain an understanding of the financial aid process and discover steps needed to financially plan for college expenses. You will also receive useful resources and checklists to keep you organized and focused. All of this information and more is contained in Verdel Jones's new book, The Parent Agent. So let this book be your guide through the college process to get to the end goal, your child enrolling into the college of their choice. To get your copy of The Parent Agent, go to DeliTeach.com and order your book today.
Okay, so that was a little overview of what The Parent Agent is actually about. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why I wrote the book. I've been in education for over 20 years. I started out as a business teacher, and then I became a guidance counselor, and currently I'm an administrator. And I've been an administrator in my district for about 12 years, and I oversee, the counselors, the social workers, 504s. So I'm the director of guidance, but I'm also in charge of student services. So when you're looking or thinking about the nurses or any other services that support our students, I'm involved with. So I have that professional perspective on things, but at the same time, we also have two children. And they've gone through the process. They've gone through the college process. They've gone through schooling. And that's the personal side. So what I wanted to do was kind of create a book that had the personal and the professional both together and share what I know. One of the things that I always like to say is, or I like to quote is Maya Angelou's, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. And that's really what Conversations with Verdel Jones is about. in the hopes that you learn something that you did not know. And I've been so fortunate to learn so much in the districts that I've worked in, and I've gained so much knowledge and so much information about education, but also about the college process. So I wanted to share that information with individuals so they too can have the tools that they need to help their child get through that process. So how it came about is we were doing a workshop. We do workshops for our parents in the school, and we were doing a workshop for 11th grade students and parents. And as I was speaking, I had an 11th grade student, and I was going through a lot of the things that, I had done in reference to preparing, our son for college. And then it just dawned on me as I was speaking to the parents who were in the same, seat as I was, that, you're really like an agent. So a sports agent finds opportunities for their athletes, and then the athletes have to kind of follow through with it. A parent is the same way. So I told the parents that you're the agent for your child. And what happens is you have to find opportunities for them to explore different things, and then it's their job or their responsibility to actually carry it out. And that's what we did with our children. But there's a key to that. There's a lot of things that, I should say, some things that you need to know in order to be an effective parent agent. And one of those things is getting to know your child. And we really, really spent a lot of time trying to get to know our children. And what does that mean? That means giving them the opportunity to express themselves, giving them the opportunity to just be exposed to different things. So we put our children in a lot of different activities to see what would stick. And once that thing, would stick, we would nurture that, and we would further that. We would continue that and enrich them in that area that they were interested in. And we did that because we wanted to have them, gain that confidence and gain the experience, something that they felt, that they liked, that they were interested in. So as a parent agent, it's your job to get to know what they like, to get to know what they don't like, and then you can kind of, find out where to go with it and how to enrich them further. So that's what we did as a parent agent. So as a parent agent, just like a sports agent, you're finding opportunities for your children, and they have to follow through. That's the key piece. They have to follow through with it. And the reason I say you have to find those opportunities for them is because they don't really know how to do that on their own. So I spent a lot of time researching and the internet and Google and just trying to find out things that they would be interested in. And also one of the things that I like to tell parents is you can check out your town, local town, your area. They always have opportunities for children to take part in. The library, local colleges. Those are places you can go to find opportunities for your young children, sports, and then you can find out what they really like. So that's how the parent agent kind of came about. I don't like to keep the information that I know to myself. I wanted to share it with a lot of people. So that's why I wrote the book, The Parent Agent, How to Represent Your Child and Get Them into the College of Their Choice. Like I said, you can find more information about the book and me on verdeljones.com. And, I would encourage you absolutely to pick up the book. So I want to kind of segue to some of the pieces in the book. I have a lot of times people ask me questions about certain things. When you're talking about college, and the book has more than just college in it. It has a lot of parenting things in there as well. As I was just sharing with getting to know your child, that's in there. Education is like the foundation for all of this. So it has tips on how to have your student engaged in education as well, and how you let others know what your children are about so they can help them the best way. So that's in there as well. But one of the questions that I always get and people always ask is about financial aid. Financial aid is such a, it means so much, and there's a lot of pieces to it, a lot of layers to it. So I just want to kind of answer some questions in reference to financial aid. So one of the questions that one of the viewers asked was, how do you go about finding out how much a college actually costs? Because you always hear these figures about how much a college costs. So that's one of the questions. How do you find that out? So the federal government years ago put out something called the net price calculator. And the net price calculator is a tool that's on every single college's website, and it tells you exactly what that college would cost. So what they want from you. They want you to fill out a questionnaire. And on that questionnaire, you're going to put in your child's GPA, you're going to put in their SAT or ACT scores. It might ask you some other information about your child. It's going to ask you about your finances as well. And what they do is they put this calculation into this net price calculator, and then it gives you the exact cost of that college based on certain characteristics that your child might have. So it'll give you the cost of the college, but then it'll take away for any grants that a child might get because of their academics or maybe their involvement in certain things. And that gives you an idea of how much that college will cost you. Now, if you have a younger child, like say, maybe in middle school and they haven't taken their SATs or ACTs and they haven't, you don't know what their GPA may be in high school, you can do some estimates there. You can put in the average SAT score, which the new one is about a 1060, and then put in, and that's the average. So if your child is a little bit above average, with test taking, you can put a little bit above average. If they're average, you can put that number in. And then you can put in the GPA that they currently have, hoping that they will continue that trend, of their academics. And that'll give you a good gauge. Even though it's far out that your child will be going to college, at least it gives you a baseline. It gives you a starting point of where to begin. So the net price calculator is so important. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you also was the government also has a great website, and it's called the College Affordability and Transparency Center. And we do have a screenshot of that. So if we can show the screenshot of the College Affordability and Transparency Center, this is really, this website is awesome. It has a net price calculator in there. So you can just click on that link and it'll give you the net price calculator for any school that you put in. It'll either send you to another site or it will give you that information. It also has a search link too. So you can do searches and researches for colleges on that site as well. Another question that I often get is, how do you actually apply for financial aid? Really what people are asking is, how do I get the money? So, show me the money. So what you need to do is, when your child is getting ready to go to college, you're going to fill out this FAFSA form. And for those of you who have seniors right now, you can fill out that FAFSA form right now because it's open. It used to be you had to wait until January. Now you can fill it out right now using the tax returns that you have. And what happens is you fill out this form and you put in a lot of information. You put your tax returns, you put your assets, you put your child's income. You put all this information into FAFSA, and it spits out what's called an EFC, which is an expected family contribution. Now that expected family contribution is the amount that the government says that you could pay for college. It's just a figure that they come up with based on all the information that you put in. So let me give you an example. If your EFC, your expected family contribution, is $10,000, and you went to the net price calculator that I talked about earlier, and it says that college costs $40,000, you have $30,000 in difference that you have to make up some kind of way. So colleges will sometimes meet that need. In other words, colleges will sometimes say, all right, we can meet the need with grants or scholarships or whatever. Maybe it might be loans. But that's the price, that's what they have to make up, or that's the, they meet the need, that $30,000. That's really what the FAFSA is. The FAFSA allows you to get grants if you're, if you meet a certain income level. It allows you to take out loans. You have to pay those back, but students can take out loans as well. Parents can take out loans. It's called a Parent Plus loan, and also work study. So there's a lot of different things that you can gain from filling out that FAFSA form. A lot of people say, well, I don't make enough, I make too much money, I'm not going to fill it out. That might be true, but the nice thing about FAFSA is, say for example something happens or you need to fill in the gap a little bit financially, you can take those loans, and anybody can get a loan. It doesn't matter what your income level is. So that's something that I always encourage people to do. Make sure you fill out that FAFSA form. One of the things though, because college is expensive, I have a great website that I came across that gives you information about no loans. So I have a screenshot of the FinAid website. Now that FinAid website, it's kind of tricky to get to, but it has a section in there that's no loans for low-income students. So that's no loans, no caps, no parental contribution, or a Pell Grant match. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with that on that site to find out what colleges offer no loans to students. So I would encourage you to do that as well, to check that out. All this information can be found on my website, deliteach.com. So I told you about verdeljones.com, but I also have deliteach.com. And that website is more of this stuff that I'm talking about. It's a lot of resources, a lot of information about the financial aid process, about the net price calculator. And all the links to what I just mentioned are on that site. So again, people always ask me about financial aid. There's a whole section in my book, a whole chapter, dedicated to financial aid. So, that's really a lot of, what people ask me about. We're going to take a little break because in a couple of minutes, I have two, awesome and amazing guests that are going to join us. And we're going to talk a little bit about the research process, what it's like going to college, what it's like, with internships and all of that. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. All right, so I said we had two special guests here to talk to us about, the college process, from the research and exploration to actually being in college to graduating from college. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my special guests, Maya Jones and Marcus Jones. And as you can tell, their last name is Jones. They are our children. And I'm so happy to have them both here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So Maya is currently at Temple University.
To you.
And Marcus is a graduate of Emerson College. Mm-hmm. So
we don't have a fancy,
you don't have a call.
We don't have a call.
You don't have a call at Emerson? No Emerson call. So, I wanted to kind of, and I'm happy you guys are here, because one of the things that I was sharing with everyone is I have a personal and a professional perspective. So you're the personal perspective. Mm-hmm. So we've gone through the process, and we've really worked at, your father and I really worked at getting to know you guys, and I think you can put a stamp on that and say that's true.
I would say that.
Yeah, we can confirm.
So I wanted to get your perspective on these things because you're closer to it and you have the real live experience of it. Mm-hmm. As a parent, it's a little different. I just know what I did. But on the flip side, you guys have the experience that you see through your own lens. So I want everybody to hear that. You guys are awesome and amazing. And I want, everybody, they know that, but I want them to hear from you some of the things about this process. So,
all right.
Let me ask you a couple of things about it. When did you first know that you were going to college?
Never really.
Never really. Yeah,
you were like, you guys are going to college, and that's it, pretty much. So it was always an expectation, basically, that we were going to college. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same for you.
Pretty much.
We started the college process, I think, a little earlier than most. I think that has a lot to do with what I do, as a profession. But we really did start early. So what was that experience like for you, since Marcus is the oldest? What was that experience for you as far as researching colleges and visiting colleges? And do you remember the first college that you actually toured, so to speak, like an official visit?
Let's see. In terms of an official visit, it might have been Savannah College of Art and Design, or at least I think from my that was like, because in my memory that was like the earliest in terms of like choosing a college. I think that was like the first one where I was like, I want to go here, and that was originally when I wanted to do video game development. Mm-hmm. Go into the sort of like those arts. So now when I started thinking about colleges that I wanted to go to.
Right. And how did you? So when we went to Savannah College of Art and Design, Maya, you were young.
I was in like elementary school, I believe.
Right. Did that experience have an impact on you? Do you remember it?
Oh, I remember it.
Oh, okay.
I remember it. I remember thinking, wow, college.
Okay.
So early.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was cool to get that kind of exposure to see like what it would be like touring colleges, even that early.
Even that early.
Yeah.
So as we went on this search, Maya had the benefit of seeing double colleges because she went with us to all of the college visits that you had. So how did you when you went on a college campus, Marcus, what were some of the things that you kind of looked at when we visited college campuses?
I would say probably the first thing I would normally look at is like where I'm at, like the general sort of like scene. How does the college look? Does it look like a college that you would see sort of on TV or in movies or something like that, where it's like a lot of partying going on or something like that, or is it more normal? Like I guess my first instinct was looking at sort of like the atmosphere. Who are the people that are going here?
Right.
Because I get in terms of visiting colleges, I would already get a lot of information from online in terms of like the course load or anything like that. So when I was visiting colleges, I was like, what's the vibe here? How do I feel about being here in this environment? How do I feel about this college? How do I feel about where, things are?
Right.
Am I close to like, interesting things like, food and all that kind of stuff? Am I far away? Is this like a singular location where there's nothing really around, there's not really any place to go to, or is it in the city and there's a bunch of stuff to do,
Right, yeah. And Maya, what was your experience when you were visiting campuses? Was it the same kind of thing, or?
Yeah, basically what Marcus said. When I went to a campus, I got a feel for the campus. I got the vibe for the people and the surroundings and everything like that. And my biggest thing was diversity when I was looking at a college. I wanted to be in a diverse environment, because that's what I've been used to.
Right.
So that was a big factor that I looked for.
Right. I remember when we went to visit Brooklyn College, there was a Popeyes around the corner, and Marcus was like, oh yeah, I could go here. There's a Popeyes right around the corner, and a GameStop, So those were, and that kind of got me thinking that really kids do look at that kind of thing when it might seem silly, but you're on and this is one thing, like you're on the college campus because you know that school has what you want to do. So everything else becomes the focus. Just like you said, both of you said, it's the atmosphere, it's you're looking for the diversity. They have the program that you want to study, but now it's the other things that, that really matter and can kind of sway you one way or the other.
Exactly. It's like, do I want to be here for the next 4 or so years?
Right. No, 4 years.
Well, I'm
graduating 4.
Well, no, not in terms of like, if you maybe transfer over somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or your master's.
Oh, your master's. Okay. All right.
4 or more.
4. No.
No.
But it was fun, and a lot of times too, what I say to parents is it's a fun experience to be able to go to college campuses with your children. It's a great experience because you do gain some insight into, how they are and what they like, and it's really a great experience as a family to go. I remember we took one trip to Ithaca College, and it was all of us, and your cousin went, Robbie, and it was just a nice experience to have the family all involved in the process and hear what they had to offer. And even though you were younger, you still had that experience, and I think that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a nice visit. Where was it? It was
Ithaca, New York.
Upstate.
Upstate.
Yeah, that was
like
that was a cool visit. I liked Ithaca a lot.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. The campus itself was really nice, and I liked their program there, but it was really far from a lot of different stuff, and that's something that I looked at when I was visiting there. Like, this is a great campus, but to go to the town, if I wanted to go get something that wasn't like on campus, I'd have to go like out.
Right. Yeah. The proximity, and that makes a difference. Some people. Some students, they don't mind that type of environment, and to me it was rural. I don't know if they would consider it was rural.
Yeah.
And, some people don't mind that because that's what they're looking for. All the activities have to happen on campus. You both, you guys, Maya goes to Temple, Marcus went to Emerson. You both go to school in the city. So that's a very different experience than somebody who's going to a rural or a suburban type of environment. So, and I think the city environment suited both of you more.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd say so, definitely.
So, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I want to talk about the activities and the things you did or the involvement that you had in high school that prepared you for college.
Okay.
What kind of things did you guys do to prepare you for college in high school?
You want to take that one first?
I'll take it first.
Okay.
Well, definitely the AP classes that I took
Okay.
definitely prepared me for college because it prepared me for all-nighters and long and tiresome work, for sure, because I'd be up all night. And by the time I got to college, I was used to it because I had AP classes.
Right, right, yeah, and those AP classes are difficult. I love
Yes.
that. I love the fact that you brought up the academics, because we encourage students to, even if they're not, they're not getting A's in the AP classes, that level of academic rigor paid off for you.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
definitely.
Yeah, and also, getting involved in like clubs, like the school newspaper and stuff prepared me for, joining, I'm in Temple Association of Black Journalists, it prepared me for that, and, sports as well. Also, I think that when you get involved in like multiple activities, it kind of helps you figure out how to balance. So when you get into college, it makes it a little easier.
Like that time management.
Time management.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what, Marcus, what things did you do, activities were you involved in to help you prepare for college?
I would say sort of on the note of what you were talking about in terms of like the activities and stuff. And for my case, I majored in film development, and the classes that I did there, classes that I took in high school were, film related, so that sort of prepared me for sort of like doing that. But I also had a couple of clubs that I was doing too. I did sports, I did track for a few years. I also did theater. I was in theater. Took a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah, you can remember sort of like
I remember
the many nights that I would be like on a stage or whatever, preparing for lines and all that stuff. So sort of again with the time management thing, stuff like that. And there was also sort of a lot of outside things that, of course, that we participated in too, like internships and things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about the internships, but I do want to focus on the activities that you did, because you guys did a lot of activities in school, or you did some activities in school, but you guys did a lot of activities outside of school as well. Marcus was involved in AXO, which is the NAACP AXO. There's a competition and all of that. Maya, you were involved with, you went to Stony Brook University for the green team. So just speak to some of those experiences outside of school that really taught you something, or you learned something and it prepared you.
Well, when I was on the green team for the Stony Brook journalism program, it definitely helped me decide what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
In the journalism program, it was a week, and it was rigorous. Like, we did multiple interviews and stories and everything like that. Just really some serious journalism, and that really made me passionate about it, and it made me want to major in journalism. So
nice.
It was a great program, and it definitely prepared me.
And along those lines, with the activities, why did you pick the major that you picked?
Yeah. I would say because, again, sort of on the same line, because of AXO, like you just mentioned. The program that I was doing at AXO, it's a competition with a lot of sort of black entrepreneurs, artists, writers, all this kind of stuff.
Scientists, mathematicians,
yeah. It's a bunch of, AXO involved a bunch of different sort of like minority students doing like things within, sciences and arts and all that stuff.
Right.
And I ended up doing filmmaking. So I competed in like filmmaking category in that program, and we ended up going to the first time I did it, we had competitions in New York City. So I got to stay in New York City for I think it was like a weekend.
Yeah, it was maybe a few days.
Yeah, it was a few days. Yeah, but competing with sort of like other like kids, that showed their films, and I was also doing poetry at the same time, I believe.
Yeah.
But doing that and seeing sort of like all those filmmakers do all that stuff and getting critiqued on like, oh, this is this, and you should work on this, but this is really good, and sort of doing that and sort of taking on that project, working with people in my high school. I had friends that were like actors and stuff like that, and I had to do sort of a lot of this sort of like on my own. But I love like the process of making all this making the films and all that. So that really pushed me towards what I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. And one of the what I was saying earlier was finding out what you guys like, and then kind of ramping it up and really kind of nurturing that love for whatever you do. Maya was in creative writing courses. You took a week course in at SCAD. It was video, but it was game. No, what was it? Game.
It was both.
game and video. So, you know, we try to make sure that we put, you know, you guys in those situations so you can get that confidence and love and do what you love to do or what you're interested in. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about internships. And we're going to talk a little bit also about when you go to college, what do you do? What happens? What goes on? So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Welcome back to Conversations with Verdel Jones. We were sitting here chatting with Marcus and Maya, and they were sharing their experience about the college research exploration process and how they kind of came to go to where the colleges, you know, that they're going to. So we're going to pick up that conversation. I really kind of want to segue to, you know, what happens after you get accepted to college and you actually go to college. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I have a chapter in my book where I address the move. There's a move-in checklist and the things that you need to do, the things you need to bring, or just some tips, you know, in going through that process, because it is a big process. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. One of the things that I would strongly suggest is that you have this checklist of things that you need to bring. Now, there's a lot of websites that are kind of dedicated to that. There's dormsmart.com, but also Pinterest is a great website to, you know, search in Pinterest for you know, a lot of different things. So I have a quick screenshot I want to show you. It's and what I did was in the search I put in show college. I put in college dorm checklist. So if we can just put up the clip or the screenshot for the college dorm checklist. From Pinterest, you can see all of the things that you know, you need to bring, and it gives you really great examples of what you should and what you shouldn't bring. I don't know if we have that up. If not, that's okay. We can move on. So, oh, there we go. So, again, when you go into Pinterest, all you need to do is type in college dorm checklist, and it will give you hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of things that you can do or checklists that you can use to kind of prepare for that college trip. So that's a great website for you to use. Pinterest is great for anything, but I found it really helpful with this as well. And also, you know, all of the stores that carry the supplies for college students, they have things on their website as well that you can take a look at. I just like Pinterest because it's a pretty cool website and there's a lot of interesting and innovative things on there as well. So let's go back to Marcus and Maya. We're going to, you know, continue this conversation and talk about the acceptance. So how did you feel? All right, so we filled out, I mean, you filled out, okay, we filled out the college applications, and we, you know, we applied to, I'm an agent all the time, so you guys applied to, you know, 6 schools or whatever it was, and we waited and we visited. I think most of the schools that you applied to, maybe not all, but some of them we did actually visit. I think most of the ones that we visited you actually applied to. The ones we visited you applied to, but the ones you applied to we didn't necessarily visit. So once we did that process, so you guys went through that process, and we sent all the essays and resumes and all that stuff.
Only essays.
essays. The dreaded essays, which I think the essays is the real. The essay is what holds up the application all the time.
Yeah.
Never fails. Maya is a writer, and it still was something that was held up a little bit. Marcus didn't want to write an essay, so it really held up the applications, but it's all right. How did you feel when you got the acceptance letter in the mail from the college that you wanted to attend?
Hype.
Hype?
Hype. I was
Hype?
excited.
Hype?
I was hype. I was so excited because I really wanted to go to Temple. When I got the acceptance letter, I was like, yes, I'm in there. I'm done with high school. I was so happy.
I mean, you weren't done. That was like in...
I felt done.
You felt
I felt done.
Senioritis? Yeah.
Admittedly, it did, yeah.
Right,
When I got
right
there,
in,
yeah,
right?
It was just like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I know I'm good.
Exactly. I'm covered.
No, but yeah, no, I was pumped. for sure. I was, I mean, I kind of expected it. Like, of course I'm getting it, but of course there's like that little bit of dread, just like, maybe. But then it's funny because when you get the acceptance letter, it's like you might get like the small letter, and that's kind of just like the dread. But if you get like the big letter, it's like, oh,
big letter.
Yeah, you want the big letter. Like, oh, okay, this is going to have the pamphlet and everything. So as soon as I didn't even need to open it, I saw the big letter, and it was just like,
then you
that's it. That's it.
And I did not open their letters. I let them, open it. I wanted to, but I let them do it so they can get that experience and, that excitement about it.
Thank you for giving us that.
You're welcome. Because I'll open anything else that comes to the house.
No facts.
Not that.
You will.
So, I talked a little bit about what to bring on campus, what not to bring on campus. What was your experience in that process, deciding what to bring on campus? One of the things that I write about in the book is you, Marcus, bringing every single thing that you owned.
It wasn't every single thing.
Every single comic book,
Video game.
Yeah.
Manga.
No,
I did not do that. Oh, no, that would have been way too much. There was too many of those, yeah.
So what would you say, and for both of you, what would you say in reference to what should you bring to college? What should you bring with you to campus?
All right, I guess for me, in terms of like, when I first did that, I did bring a lot of stuff. And I learned from there, like, the college is going to provide a lot of stuff, plus you're going to be doing so much, you don't really need to bring everything that you own. You're probably going to be going home every now and again. You'll probably be happy that you left some stuff home. So I would say, and you're also probably gonna get stuff while you're at college. I would say bring enough clothes to last you, of course, the semester. Don't bring all. I mean, it depends on how much clothes you have.
Right.
And I have a lot of like T-shirts and stuff like that. I took maybe like half of them.
Okay.
Some kind of form of entertainment. If you play video games, I'd say if you have like a small monitor or something like that, you should bring that just to keep yourself entertained. But don't bring all your stuff because you're not going to have time. If you're doing a lot of stuff, you're not going to have time to be, playing all those games. And of course, you always have your sort of like college essentials, your lamps, your desktops, books, all that kind of stuff. You don't need to bring everything you own because you're still going to be going home, every now and again. You don't need. You'll realize real quick you don't need any of that stuff.
Right.
You might feel sort of like anxious about it, like, oh, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have this. But in that first year, bring what you think you need, and you'll figure out real quick. Oh, I never use this, and I never use this. It's it's part of that learning process when you first go to college, and then you'll know. Okay, I could take this back home because I'm never going to use this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Do not bring all your clothes. I made that first mistake. But then the second year, I brought too little. So you got to find that balance,
that happy medium.
That happy medium. Like, and also when you think about the amount of stuff that you're going to be bringing, like I have a friend, my roommate, she has so many clothes.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a place to store them all. So when you go to college, you have to think about how much space you actually have in your dorm or your apartment or something like that, because you're going to need a place to store all of it. So don't bring more than what you can store.
You'll have, like there are closets, in a lot of campus dorms that are just like
tiny.
That big. So you won't, you'll need like, storage spaces. You'll need like bins to probably try to put under your bed or something like that.
Right, yeah, keep the bins. Also, keep a few bins as well.
Keep those bins.
For storage, because storage is a valuable thing when you're
when it's winter and you don't need when you need your coat, you want to make sure that's like stored somewhere.
Exactly.
A room for that. So what was it, it's interesting because as you guys are talking, I'm thinking about that move-in process and what went on and how it went down and how it was different for both of you, different and the same, So what was it like when you got everything set up, For Marcus, I was able to Marcus didn't really allow me to do too much. Maya, allowed me to do, help her hang things up and all that stuff. Marcus was like, all right, you got to go. Not you got to go, but he didn't want me to touch it. I think we were more anxious. I don't know what it was, but it was just very funny. It was very different, but the same in the same regard. So how did it feel when you got on campus and, we moved you guys in, and Daddy and I left? How how do you deal with those emotions? What kind of emotions did you have, and how did you deal with it? Were you like, yay, or how did that go down? Because I think that's anxiety for some people.
I think I was cool.
You were cool.
I didn't. I mean,
You were all right.
For me, it was like, because I had been, for me personally, I had been away from you guys before, for, extended periods of time. Definitely not as long as, college, but I had been away, so it's like, okay, I sort of know what the deal is, and I'm probably going to see you guys within, 2 months or something like that. Right. So all in all, it was, so for me, it was just more so, it was less about, leaving you guys and more about, okay, let me see what I am sort of like by myself in this place. Let me see what it is trying to be a semi-adult, not a real adult, like a young adult.
Right, yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah. And how was it for you?
Well, for me, it was different. I was kind of upset. When you guys left, I cried. Literally, right after you guys left, I cried. But then I found out that there were some activities going on outside. I was like, oh, okay. I'll be okay. Literally, after the first, I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to adjust and be on my own. I was nervous about that. But after, the first day or two, I realized that I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny because we, when Marcus went away, we were like, he's going to be fine. I'm not even, he's going to be fine. I knew that he was going to be okay because he had Marcus has always been an independent child, a young adult.
Yeah.
He's always been an independent person. So I was less, nervous. But when Maya went away, I'm like, reality is going to hit this girl. She is, I don't know what's going to happen. I was more nervous. And not because I didn't think you could do it, but because of the way that our family system worked, that we took care of you. And
I'm the baby.
You're the baby, right. Your brother, Marcus, took care of you. So we were a little bit nervous, but at the same time, this is going to be good for you because it'll teach you how to do it on your own.
Yeah, it definitely taught me how to, like Marcus said before, it let me kind of understand who I am in a way. I was finding myself and finding out how I existed in the world as an individual.
Right, yeah.
So just kind of figuring out who I am and how I am as just myself as a person. Not just with mom and dad or with Marcus, but on my own.
On your own, right.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
I think, it's a great experience to actually have that. And I was confident that what Daddy and I did with you guys, that it would help and you would know to do the right thing. It's so interesting when parents talk to their children and they think their children are not listening. And then when their children are talking to someone, one of their friends, an adult, and they're repeating some of the things that you told them, it's like, wow, they really do listen. So for parents, it's so important that you know that your children actually do listen to you. They might not acknowledge that at the time, but it will kind of manifest itself in some way, shape, or form at some point in time. Right, something sinks in. So that was the comfort. But there's a lot of anxiety around going to college and being on your own. So yeah, definitely. So you were talking about leaving some stuff at home because you're not going to have time. So what would you suggest students do that are entering college as far as activities? Should they hit the ground running? Should they wait? What should they do as far as getting involved within the college community?
I would say depending on your college may do a very good job of sort of pushing you towards that. I know that my college, we had, you have sort of the student aides that, introduce freshmen and it's like, hey guys, we're going to do all this, yay, and get you sort of jumping into whatever you're going to do.
Right.
For me,
when we dropped you, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when we dropped you off, I mean, that place was bananas. They were going crazy, yeah, let's do that. I mean, they sang when we walked into the dorm. So anyway, go ahead.
And you know me though, that whole time I was just kind of just right, okay, Yankee hat, yay! I'm just trying to move in, calm down. Yeah. So I tried. So one of the reasons why I chose the place that I did was because not only the course load, but the activities sort of encouraged like hitting the ground running.
Right.
Like you could work the camera, you could work this editing software, and you could do all this kind of stuff. So when opportunity arose where people were either like, we're going to teach you this, or you may have the opportunity to be a part of this and you can learn this, I was like, yes, let me go. Let me do that. Let me work on whatever I got to do, and try to be as part of as much stuff as possible.
Right.
And then you sort of learn, like, okay, I can do all this, but then this might detract from this.
Okay.
So it's sort of so I would say it's definitely important to hit the ground running, see what you want to do, see what you like. Because even if you don't like it, then okay, I don't like that. Or even if you do like it, but you're like, oh, but I'm stressed out about this. It's good to get all that stuff sort of out of the way early, so okay, I know that, I can have time for this, but not this, or, or again, time, you're saying time management.
Right, yeah. And that's one thing I did love about Emerson College was the opportunities that you had to get involved were outrageous. The things that you did in your freshman year were just outstanding because the college kind of encouraged that, and you took advantage of it. So, and you kind of started that in high school. Like your last year of your senior year of high school, you did so many things that kind of got you prepared to do that kind of work when you were at Emerson College. So that really was helpful.
I kind of caught senioritis and I was bored, so I had, so I was like, I need to do something else.
You need to do something.
Yeah, I can't just, just be lazy with this and go home. Now I gotta be active.
You gotta be active, right? And what about you? Did you hit the ground running, or did you feel like you needed to? What was your journey?
See, I didn't hit the ground running freshman year. I was kind of lazy, I'll admit. I didn't join any clubs or anything like that. I would sign the listserv and everything like that, but I'd go to programs every now and then. But I definitely wish that I would have got involved earlier. I did get involved my sophomore year, though.
Yes.
I joined Temple Association Black Journalists.
Tab J.
Yeah. Yes, Tab J.
Shout out to Tab J.
And I just wish I would have got involved a little bit earlier, just so I could have built more relationships and longer lasting relationships with certain people.
Right.
But I definitely encourage people to not do what I did, do what he did. For sure.
Now, do you think the college was the reason why? Because Emerson seemed to encourage that. Your school is huge. There's a lot of students there.
Yeah.
Temple University is a big university, so you can choose to just fall back or do something.
I mean, they have a lot. They have so many clubs there.
They do.
I was kind of just lazy.
You're just lazy.
We're being awesome.
But now you're involved in so many things. The blog that you do, Black Affiliated. It's not really associated with the college, but it's through individuals that you met at Temple. So that's something that you do. The Vibe, you do that. That's the TV show. And Marcus, same thing. I mean, there were like hundreds of things that he was doing at Emerson. And I think it's so important that you guys both mentioned that time management and knowing what you can handle and what you can't handle. And we've had both with Marcus and Maya, I've had conversations talking about that time management. I get that stress phone call, then I got to talk you guys down, and we kind of, and then you regroup. So that's going to happen, and I think parents need to be open to those conversations to help their children kind of navigate that.
Definitely.
Yeah, yes. I think it helped.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would say when I was at my breaking point,
right.
when I was stressing, that talk definitely helped me kind of regroup and kind of say to myself, all right, Maya, you had your breakdown, let's get back to the grind.
Right. You called me and Daddy.
I did. And Marcus.
And Marcus.
She called me too.
She called the whole family.
Yeah, I did. She called me. I was worried, and it was just like, oh, okay. I know. I had the same conversation with Mom, and I did. Yeah, I had the same thing going through me. I was working like several different shows, like courseworks and all this kind of stuff. And I do remember junior year. And I remember. And I don't know. I don't even remember why I called you about that. Maybe I was calling you for something else.
Money.
Maybe. It's probably money. But and I was just sort of like telling you all this, just like, so I'm doing this and this and this, and I don't know if I'm doing good in this, and I don't know what's going on, and it was just like, I was very stressed. And you're gonna have those moments.
Right.
Yes, you are.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's how you deal with them, right?
Yeah. It's how. It's how you deal with, any of those setbacks that you may have is what's going to make you that, a person that exists in this,
That's right. So we have about 3 minutes left. I know the time goes by so quickly. We didn't get a chance to talk about internships, but I know you both took advantage of internships while you were in high school and while you were in college. And we didn't even get to talk about the career and like how do you find a job and all of that. So what I want to do is just really briefly, I want you to share the importance of internships for you, and then real quick, how did you end up finding a job? So internships.
Internships are important. You need to have at least one, because it gives you the actual real world experience of what you want to do. How can you go into a job if you don't know what you're getting into? That's what an internship does. It prepares you for the actual work that you want to do, and it also helps you figure out if you really want to be in that career.
Right.
So internships are important.
And how did you find a job after you graduated? You graduated in 2014.
Yep.
So how did you go about finding your job? How hard was it? What connections did you use? Networking, I know, is important.
You kind of just said it right there. Networking. Networking is how I get most of my jobs, whether I'm doing freelance or if it's the job that I had for about a year and a half. It's all about networking. It's all about the people you know. It's whether it be my friends who are like, hey, I'm working on this thing, and these are friendships that I made in college.
In college, right.
So yeah, definitely networking, having sort of like a strong resume, talking to like career services, at your school really helped me prepare for a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to thank Marcus and Maya for being here today. They are lovely individuals, not just because they're my children, but because they really, really took advantage of the opportunities that were in front of them. And I am so thankful, Jeremiah and I both are so thankful to have children who actually listen and was open to our suggestions, but then they also have their own minds. They're also very independent, and they think for themselves. That critical thinking skill is so important. So I want to thank everyone for joining us, for Conversations with Verdel Jones. I will be back on December 19th, looking forward to the 2017 season. So with that, I'd like to thank you and have a good one.